Right, buddy, in this video I'm going to be talking about ZIRKZEE out and OSIMHEN in. I'll be talking about the Liverpool game being potentially off, and as well some other interesting stories surrounding Marcus Rashford. But anyway, let me know your thoughts before we do get into the news. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and let's get straight into it. Listen, it's coming from Forza Juventus England. Joshua ZIRKZEE has said yes to joining Juventus. All that's left is a deal to be made in Manchester United. Talks continued yesterday. And obviously we've heard from Victor Osimhen, I talked about it in the morning show, that Victor will move. He'll wear the red colours in England. There are moves already, and that is what you want. It's not going to be a swap deal. It's more going to be kind of one in, one out sort of thing. Listen, I think ZIRKZEE is a player who reports are suggesting that he wants to fight for his Manchester United place. ZIRKZEE is a talented player, no doubt, a player who's worked hard, and ultimately a player who for me was scapegoated against that game against Crystal Palace. Yes, he deserved to come off. And his performance was nowhere near good enough. But the fact that he got booed off, a player who's taking credit for all the poor performances, really, like, he did not deserve to get booed. And ultimately, that was what happened in that game against Newcastle on Monday evening. Now, ZIRKZEE is a player who, yes, he hasn't done good enough, but is it better for a player to be booed at your home ground, at their home ground, only 4 months being joined to a club? It's not. And ultimately, if ZIRKZEE does want to leave, you have to look at that on the cards. I think in the few months, listen, they haven't been promising, but you got to give a player time. You got to give a player maybe a season or so to kind of get settled in with the league. He's a young player, come from the Italian league. And ultimately, a lot of the reports have been talked about his potentially moving back, whether that's going to Juventus, Bologna, Napoli have been talked about. There certainly is interest in ZIRKZEE. Fabrizio Romano reported a couple of weeks ago that ZIRKZEE is interested in keeping his position at Manchester United and is ready to fight. Ultimately, ZIRKZEE is a player who struggled with confidence, and I think that is the biggest thing with ZIRKZEE. His confidence at the minute is rather low, and ultimately with ZIRKZEE, he's a player who we know there's a player in there. We've seen it before. Does he fit the Ruben Amorim system? Is he a Ruben Amorim player? We have to look at that from that perspective. Ultimately, I think you have to look at it with a case of he hasn't done good enough for Manchester United in games that we played him. Has he looked good enough? No. He had a few glimpses here and there on his debut, scoring at Old Trafford. I think it was Southampton away, he had a good game. He's had a few other games here and there as well. But ultimately, in the long term, has he done enough? Now, in terms of Victor Osimhen, I mean, could you see that potentially happen? Osimhen's a player. As I said, the source close to Osimhen said he will move to Manchester United. That's what he wants. He wants to wear the red colours. Ultimately, we'll have to wait and see how that develops. Osimhen's a player that we know we like. He's experienced. He's very good on the ball. His hold-up play is fantastic. He's a pacey striker. And ultimately, he'll be an experienced striker who can come in, will definitely play in that forward role, can kind of share the workload with Rasmus Højlund, allow Højlund to get some game time and kind of alleviate the pressure off him. He is experienced. He can score goals. He can get assists. He's, as I said, a very hard worker. I mean, there are many positive things about Victor Osimhen. I think he will suit this Manchester United system, the Amorim system. He's played in the Champions League. Again, it would be about the price, but will United have the funds to do that? As I said, the striker is certainly a position Manchester United need to get into the club ASAP. I don't think we can really have Højlund as our starting striker. He simply isn't good enough. There definitely is a player there, though, in Rasmus Højlund. I think he can work and he can be a quality player. We've seen it before. We've seen it in games this season for United. He is still a young player. He's only 22, so you have to give him time. And yes, Victor Osimhen is only 3 years older than him, but that's a lot. He's more experienced. He's played more games. And ultimately, he could be a striker who you could see getting 20 goals. Obviously, it's a big signing. I mean, we did sign ZIRKZEE from the Italian league. It is a big risk signing a player like that, but ultimately, you have to take that risk. There's no guarantee that any transfer is going to work out. And I think with ZIRKZEE, you have to look at it as a thing. I think you've got to give him more time. But in the summer, this is probably where this deal is going to happen. If ZIRKZEE wants to leave, Osimhen, you want to bring him in, why not? Let's see what happens on that. Now, the next thing, the Liverpool versus United game being called off. I mean, many Manchester United fans will probably be happy about that. But obviously, there's lots of, in the UK right now, there's lots of floods, severe warning weather conditions. So there could be a potential that it will be called off. Obviously, it's still 4 p.m. tomorrow or 4:30 kickoff UK time, so you have to give it time. But there is a severe weather warning. There are loads of issues in the UK, so you could potentially see that being cancelled. Let's see what does happen on that situation. It will be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, listen, let me know your thoughts on that. I mean, I'm hoping it doesn't get called off. I want to see United play, even if we do lose. Like, I want to watch the club and want to watch the team and see what we can do. It's a big game for United, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, we will keep you updated with whatever's going on. But anyway, that has been the latest news. OSIMHEN in, ZIRKZEE out. Let's see what happened with that. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Hope you did enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe, do all of that good stuff. We're on the road to 3k subscribers, and it'll be good to hit that very, very soon. So thank you for watching, and peace.